Welcome to the Primetime Alberta Sports Show. I'm your host, Andrew Greenwald. We're joined by Sean McKernan. Did I pronounce that correctly? McKernan.
Yep.
He is the owner and CEO of the Hockey Development Center based out of Calgary, Alberta. And we're happy he's able to join us today on our first Monday show. So, Sean, thanks for being with us.
Glad to be here.
The Primetime Alberta Sports Show has now changed to Mondays and Thursdays due to viewer demand. So we're so excited to be able to bring you guys some more information about sports in Alberta. Today's show is brought to you by Cobb Sports Marketing. Sports marketing made simple. Sean, let's talk about your business, sir. Let's bring it up on the screen here. I want to share this with everyone as we go through it. The Hockey Development Center just doesn't offer, one-on-one programs, tournaments, and it offers everything. So, tell us about yourself. Tell us about HDC, and let our viewers know what you guys do.
Sure. No, thank you. Glad to be here. Yeah. So going back about 5-6 years, I started coaching like probably every other dad coach out there. They have a son. They would get involved in coaching. This was I went through my first and second son, and I found as we started getting deeper and deeper into Adam and Pee Wee, there was a bigger need for ice and supplemental development, and there was a clear lack of ice and supplemental development. So about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, I was on a local board here for a local association, and they were looking for ice. They were looking for supplemental development. And so I was getting a little bit tired of running these breakfast clubs at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, because that's the only time you can find ice. So I said, okay, well, let's partner. So if you guys want to buy a lot of my ice in development, I will open a rink, and then we'll go from there. So in 2017, November 6th, we opened the Calgary Hockey Development Center, which was phase 1. We'll be going to phase 2 and 3, which I'll talk to you about in a moment. And really, we were looking at a couple things. One is providing ice for recreational hockey players, whether you're an adult or a child or an association or a team. Here's an opportunity for you to get some ice. We have a massive shortage of ice here in Calgary particularly. And so we were looking to do that for teams and associations, as well as helping associations and teams and individuals with supplemental skill development. There was a massive shortage of people, and the reason was that, chicken and egg thing. You probably wouldn't come to Calgary to start your local hockey development company because you just can't find ice. And if you love waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, great. You can maybe do a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5 days a week. For the on ice instructors that I talk to, that gets a little tiresome. Most have to do that and go to their job. So long story short, we said, well, let's just do it here. We can do primetime development. We can do morning development, day, night, noon, whatever. And so, most people tell you don't try to be everything and anything to everybody, but we actually are. So we provide, again, development sessions or programs from, if you're 3 and 4 intro to hockey, all the way up to adult fundamentals, all the way up to adult 3-on-3 and everything in between. So that was kind of the impetus behind what we intended to do. It has evolved a little bit, Andrew, over the last couple of years in terms of there was a massive need for leagues, particularly at Timbit novice level. So with, Hockey Canada going with half ice hockey, there were some parents and some players that weren't quite happy with the way that was going. So we said, okay, if you want it, we'll provide it. So we provide leagues for novice and Timbit kids. And that's probably our bread and butter right now, that and 3-on-3. So that's really taken off to the point where we're looking at, locations 2, 3, and 4 right now.
Wow, Sean, that's quite impressive to be able to come into. So obviously, as everyone knows, ice is a premium across Canada. But from the sound of it, you're saying more so here in Calgary that it's more needed.
Well, it is a problem everywhere. The thing is, I obviously live here. I understand the market better. I know Edmonton is in the same situation. That's a market we're looking at too. I know Toronto's in the same situation. They have some rinks that are like this. But with the evolution of hockey, I know you probably live this like I do. It is growing exponentially in terms of academies and private groups and private leagues and all of that. And rightly or wrongly, the demand is there, and so we're going to fulfill that demand.
Wow. So Sean, let's briefly talk about, you hit on your 3-on-3. It's obviously growing quite a bit now with COVID and the restrictions that are still in place. Do you want to briefly speak about your 3-on-3 programs?
Yeah, that was a bit of an epiphany. So I've been in the market coaching here at the elite level for probably 15, 16 years before we built HDC. And so we started off with a 3-on-3 program. That was one of our first things. We thought, you know what, kids are going to like to play 3-on-3 at probably all ages. Let's start a 3-on-3 program. And we, out of the gate, we sold out 4 sessions of 3-on-3, which was 3 more than I thought we'd do. And then we went to 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then 8 separate 3-on-3 sessions of groups of 20. So we do 10-on-10. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me why it was so popular and continues to be popular, until I kind of tackled a couple of kids and I said, what is with this? Why do you enjoy 3-on-3? And invariably the kids came back and they said, I'm out there, I'm touching the puck, I'm shooting, I'm engaged, I'm sometimes successful, I fail sometimes, and then when I come to the bench, guess what? Nobody tells me that was a horrible move. I should move here. I should stay there. So it's literally pawn hockey. They go out, they try some stupid stuff. They fail, they succeed, they laugh, they come to the bench, and they get very little instruction. So from a guy who's kind of based in instruction, to me, that was a real eye opener around clear to kids like unstructured play. And so, as we continue to offer 3-on-3, we now have adult leagues going. We now have, midget and junior kids going. We have little kids. So 3-on-3 is just taken off like I hadn't expected at all.
You mentioned that it's something that you didn't expect at all. Do you feel that there was a need for that back further, or do you think that it's just become more popular now that it's being offered by not just yourself but other programs throughout?
Yeah, so going back when I was coaching the novice ones and Adam ones and PU ones and those teams, we would certainly do a lot of small area games. So typically you would get a half ice, and you can't really do half ice 5-on-5. So we were doing half ice 3-on-3, 2-on-1, 3-on-2 type of stuff, and I'm sure everyone across the country has been doing that for decades. But it was never really a nice contained environment to do 3-on-3 or 2-on-2. Most coaches would stand at the blue line, they would dump a puck in, you'd put 2 nets at the walls, and you would play whatever you played, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. So it's certainly not a new concept. We just kind of took that concept and built a rink that was more conducive to a nice 3-on-3 game.
Talking about your rink, I can't find any pictures, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I really wanted to.
There's definitely some pictures on the website here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them before I put them up. So your 3-on-3, it's grown a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to touch on that some of our audience may not know about you guys is you actually run a spring program as well. Did you want to briefly talk about that?
Yeah, we have been involved in spring now for well over 20 years. So in terms of spring, we've really evolved into, the typical, you offer the spring team, you play a spring tournament, and you go for 2.5 months and you dissolve and then you start over again next year. We are now into spring academies for quadrant players. So those who are not really wanting a spring team, they want more development. They want more physical training, strength, conditioning, yoga, flexibility, mental preparedness, all of that kind of stuff. So we're now offering that. Our facility does have a gym. We do boxing, we do education, we do video review. So we do all of that stuff for the quadrant kids. So that's relatively new for us. And then we typically run, academies for smaller kids, programs from 3-on-3 to power skating to our new magic mitts and decamps and all of those programs. So we're quite full in terms of our offering here at our facility.
You are definitely making heads shake in Calgary. It's I think there definitely needs to be more of these type of options available to any athlete.
It's funny you bring that up because it actually took the market a couple years to really understand a training rink. So when we had, older kids come in, when I say older kids, 13, 14, 15, 16, and their coaches come in for training, they weren't actually sold. So I found it ironic. They would go back to their full ice or half ice practice. They would partition the ice from the blue line over. They'd do small area games, but they couldn't figure out how to run a practice here at our facility. So it took a couple of years for them to understand the facility and how to run a practice here. And now I find a lot of these coaches and instructors, they find it hard to go back to the big ice now.
Yeah, it's definitely. Sean, we got to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I want to talk about your youth program that you guys are running when we come back. So I think it's important that we try to hit on everything that your facility and your management group offers. So when we come back, let's talk about that. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Time Come Up with a Sports Show. Again, we're joined by Sean, the owner and CEO of Hockey Development Center based out of Calgary. Thanks so much for joining us today. Before we left for the commercial break, I spoke about your youth program that you guys run, and I'm just trying to bring it up on the screen so people understand what I'm trying to talk about. So while you go through that, I believe it's called the Alternative Youth Hockey League. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you can actually just go to ayhl.ca and that'll bring up all the info as well. It's there, but it's also on a separate website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so this was, we kind of fell into this. There was a demand for an alternative league for smaller kids. A lot of parents had come to us and they gave us a laundry list of what they didn't like about minor hockey. So we said, okay, give us the laundry list. And it was like, we don't like early practices for Timbits. We don't like cash calls. We don't like the volunteerism. We don't like the 4 o'clock practices. So there was all of these we don't like half ice, et cetera, et cetera. So we took all of those, brought it to the boardroom, and then we developed a league that really eliminated all of the, we'll call it the negative aspects, so to speak, that the parents were telling us about, particularly Timbits and novice. Because you want your introduction to hockey from a parent perspective, a kid perspective, not to be 6 a.m. and kid's tired and the kid's angry and he's got a nap and he's miserable all day and all of those things that I went through for the 9 years that I coached Timbits. And so what we did is we said, okay, great. It's a flat fee. You have your set schedule. You're going to have quality coaches. We're going to have coach development. You're gonna again know when your practices are. No cash call, no volunteering. But the big draw for a lot of parents was you were going to play hockey the way kind of hockey was intended to be played, which is on this, we'll call it full ice for small kids. So our ice surface, based on surface area, is exactly 50% of an NHL rink. You take a 6'1" hockey player, you put him down to 3 feet, and this rink kind of simulates exactly what it would be like for a 6 foot tall NHL hockey player at our rink. And so you have a full ice practice. There's 9 kids on a team. Typically, they'll have a goalie. They'll bring in a goalie, and they'll run a practice. Blue line, red line, dump-ins, breakouts, whatever you run at novice, they can do here on our ice. So that's been a real big success here. We've doubled every year in size, and we expect to double here next year in terms of our registrations. So
Sean, I don't mean to. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to bring it up. This is non-sanctioned hockey, correct? Just so our viewers understand.
Yeah, it would be non-sanctioned, correct.
Yeah.
Now that being said, sorry, Andrew, just to clarify though, it is also considered supplemental. So if you wanted to join your community association and join this, you are free to do so. It's not a travel team. It's contained in one arena. It's considered developmental.
And I appreciate you actually saying that. I was going to bring that up as well. So the viewers know that this is, they can still join their minor association and still join this and be able to participate in both.
Correct.
I think that's a great thing for you guys to be able to offer the younger players. And being a parent now of an older kid, I wish we would have had this back in her
Me
day,
too.
so I didn't have to get up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Sean, your website is so interactive and has so much information on it. I wish we had the entire day to go over all of this. Let's touch on your programs that you can offer an adult such as me and you. What programs are available that you guys offer for the adults? Let's bring it up here on the screen. So do you briefly want to talk about this and what it entails and what some of us old farts can look forward to?
Yeah, we never really intended to get too involved in adult programs or adult development. But we just got, people would drop off their kids for whatever program and they would say, you know what, I could probably benefit from this. I'm getting involved in hockey. My wife is joining me, or she's in a women's league. She doesn't quite understand hockey, or she can't shoot that well, et cetera, et cetera. Are you thinking about, offering any adult development camps? So I said, sure, let's do it. Let's do a test program and pilot. And so we did one, I think 2 years ago now, we did our first one. We had women's night out, and we also had adult fundamentals, and they both sold out. And we did, the fundamental program where you did skating and passing and shooting and stick handling. And the amount of questions that they had was unbelievable. I guess they've been, for the most part, been watching a lot of hockey. Some have been playing a lot of hockey for, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but never really understood just things around how to shoot effectively, or, and we got into where do you stand in a face-off and why, and where are you trying to win a face-off, and what happens if this, and how do you actually go into a zone effectively to get a good shot on net. And I was just inundated with questions, and then, it evolved into a bit of a fundamentals, into tactics, into strategy, which I never thought we'd get into with, people that are 40, 50, 60 years old. But we've just got rave reviews on those programs, and we're starting back up here again on Friday. We sold out another one, so they're coming. Yeah,
that's impressive. And did you want to briefly talk about how much it costs? I can bring it back up on the screen if you want. Would you like to?
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest with you. Most of our programs, I'm glad you brought up costs. So during the pandemic, we were able to open a little early, and people would come to me and say, oh, here's your chance to charge $1,000 an hour, to charge this. We've kept our rates exactly the same. Our rental rates, we actually dropped over this year to help people that were affected from the pandemic. And so we are always in the $35 to $40 per hour range for all of our programs. So no matter what you're going to look up there, so if it's 10 weeks, most of our programs are 10 weeks, times it by 40, it's going to be $399. So everything's probably around $399 with the jersey and socks and all that. So that's kind of where we're at. We're probably going to stay there for the foreseeable future. So $40 an hour is kind of what we charge.
Excellent. That's good to hear. Sean?
And we also, last bit on that is, and one of the reasons is we keep our sessions small. So another complaint that we heard was, I took an adult fundamental session over at this place and they had 39 people on the ice and it was a waste of time and I could barely see the instructor. So we don't typically go over 12 students or 12 members in our programs.
Oh, wow. That's definitely something to think about. Sean, somebody's got to pay for the show. So we got to take another quick commercial break here, sir. Stay right there. We'll be right back, guys.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back, everyone. We have Sean here with HDC, based out of Calgary, Alberta. Sean, let's talk about your winter fundamental program for a bit here. This obviously did it actually happen this winter due to COVID, or was it kind of shifted to the end?
We were shut down. So we like all other rinks, were shut down. Oh, I forget the date now. Was it December 17th, 18th, 13th, somewhere in there? So we are now we're starting, giving some people a little bit of time here to get ready. We're starting on the 15th. So all of our winter programs go from the 15th to in around April 4th to 10th.
And I think it's something we need to point out to our viewers. almost all, or actually all of your programs are sold out, are they not?
We're oversold. So we spent 17 hours yesterday and Saturday trying to find more ice here, trying to figure out if we can merge some groups, et cetera, et cetera. We are well oversold for all of our programs. It's a good problem to have, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I wouldn't be complaining at all. That's awesome, Sean. So the other thing that I wanted to hit on is your Spring Bandits program. I believe that's what they're called, is it not?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, did you want to hit on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. We like a lot of other organizations. You got to figure out how to use your ice in summer, how to use your ice in fall and winter and spring and all that kind of stuff. And so, like other associations, we run a spring hockey program. This year, again, not only due to the pandemic, we are just trying to make hockey affordable. We've heard a lot of complaints about this sport's turning elite. So if you look at our programs, we have 6 teams, I believe, this year from 2015s to 2009s, I believe. And we're charging $9.99 for spring. So we have other organizations and they're fine to charge the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for spring. That's fine. But we decided that we are not going to charge more than $9.99 for spring from now on. And we're going to try to match other groups that are charging whatever they're charging. Same amount of ice, same amount of development, on ice, off ice, all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our program. We run that again for parents and kids who want to continue with spring, who maybe don't want to play 3-on-3, but want more of an organized 5-on-5 setting. We'll offer that. It's been successful so far to date, so we'll continue going down that road. That's
excellent to hear, Sean, that you guys are able to offer these programs at such a competitive price that everyone has an opportunity to play and get out there. That's really cool. That's good to hear, Sean. Sean, your facility. Let's talk about what's inside the facility. What people can you rent a facility out for private parties? Can you rent it? Tell us what is there, what's available.
Right. So we do rent out for private parties. We have corporate parties, believe it or not, and we typically come for 3 hours. We have a dryland play area. It's got a trampoline. It's got a rock climbing wall. It's got games and toys and bouncy castles and all that kind of stuff. It's got a shooting area where the kids can shoot against, one of those tarps and all that. And then the people get the ice, and then they'll get our party room. So we do offer that. So you can just rent the ice to either go skating for family, you can book it for your team, or you can book a team party or birthday party. So we get a lot of those. Unfortunately, our ice isn't very available, and so it's getting harder and harder to accommodate these people, but we do the best we can.
You're going to need to build another ice rink next door, Sean.
Yeah, we're looking at different markets right now.
You should just build yourself a fourplex, Sean, and
sure,
just get it over with right now, right? Sean, clinics. We didn't really touch on clinics. Mm-hmm. Just looking here, just trying to bring it up so we can show our viewers. You guys offer stuff such like shooting clinics, power skating, puck control, goal scoring clinics. How are those going, and what does that entail for?
Yeah, those always sell out as well. So those are like, for those who probably can't commit to a 10-week program, they're playing for an association team. They notice their kid is struggling shooting or skating or whatnot. So typically what we'll do is we'll book those for school holidays. So if the kids are off school for teachers convention on a Thursday, Friday, we'll run all kind of these pop-up clinics, we'll call them, these little skill academies. And then people will register. They can register back to back for a shooting clinic and then a power skating clinic. So those are all typically on holidays, school holidays.
And Sean, could you briefly let our viewers know who are the instructors? Who do you have that comes out and helps these players?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, I do probably 90% of the instruction here. So although my feet are sore, what's happening is I'm not sure it's a good business model, but I'm creating some demand from people that, okay, we're going to come back to this program, but, we got to make sure you're coaching, right? Are you instructing? Are you on the ice? Can we have you for the one-on-one? So, that's got its pros and cons, obviously. But right now we've just gone through the interview process with 4 or 5 instructors. We have a whole bunch that help. I have 2 kids that help as well. I have 1 kid in WHL, 1 kid playing college hockey. So they come back in the, let's call it late spring, and they help me all summer. And then for most of the winter, it's extremely hard to find really good instructors because most of those guys that are instructing are probably coaching a quadrant team or whatnot. And so their availability is pretty sporadic. So I do most in the winter, and then we have a whole bunch of different kind of instructors that come back here from their teams all over the world type of thing, and they will instruct with us in the spring and summer.
Now, if I'm a coach looking to coach one of or help you in one of your programs, how would I get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, just go to the website, you see an email there that says info@calgaryhdc.ca or Sean@calgaryhdc.ca. Or any of those contacts right there, we'll be glad to help you out here in terms of, want to instruct, want to help, particularly for hockey schools. Probably one of our biggest attractions and draws is hockey schools in the summer. We typically go 6 to 7 weeks and we sell out all of our hockey schools. So that's a big one for instructors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was a plug.
A lot of kids through here in the summer.
There's a plug for a few university students that are looking for work. Yeah. Sean, we got to take another quick commercial break, sir. We'll be right back, everyone. Hang Hey, Sean, how's it going, sir? Welcome, and thanks for hanging out with us today. Mm-hmm. Sean, I didn't realize that you guys have a pro shop. Let's talk about that here for a minute. Look at this.
Yeah, we do, we're not Sport Check or Pro Hockey Life or anything, but people, they'll need their skate sharpened, so we got the Sparks machine going. They'll need some tape, forgot my socks, that kind of stuff. So we accommodate those needs, and the bigger needs is the Slurpee. So we have a full kind of little kitchen station here with a Slurpee machine and whatnot. And I think I'm going to get out of hockey and get into Slurpee machines because I think we make more money and sell more Slurpees than we do ice surfaces. So
Sean, the kids love the snow.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's awesome. So Sean, you wanted to talk about phase 2 and 3. Want to share that with us now?
Yeah, so we're looking at, so our market, we're situated near the airport here in Calgary. It's not a heavy residential area, so we're looking at South Calgary right now. I've got a tour later this week to look at some facilities in South Calgary, and then I got a tour the week coming to look at some facilities in Edmonton. So I know Edmonton's a hot spot with the demand there, and South Calgary is another hot spot. If and when that happens, then we'll look at going. Now we look at bigger centers like, do you go to Vancouver? Do you go to Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, that kind of stuff. So we want to open gradually. We don't want to open too soon, and we don't want to fail anybody in terms of our quality, because we've always been kind of a pretty big advocate over cost and quality. So we want to make sure that when we open something, we can adhere to our cost and quality kind of philosophy.
Now, at the start of the show, you mentioned that you started this because you didn't like getting up at 9 in the morning or 5 in the morning. Sorry, 5 in the morning. Just asking, what time did you show up to work today, Sean?
It wasn't too bad, 7:30.
7:30. So you're still getting up early, hey?
What I do, I've become smart in my old age. So we have some pretty regular clients here, so they'll just open the rink themselves. So they'll get here at 6. Yeah, they get here at 6 o'clock in the morning. The nets are on, the whole 9 yards. They put the lights on. They're good to go. And so usually the first couple of groups, they kind of manage themselves. So that helps. Yeah,
that's really honorable of them.
Yeah.
Give them the password to the Slurpee machine so they can have Slurpees too in the morning.
Yep, exactly.
Sean, what's the 5-year plan for your company? Where do you guys see yourselves in 5 years? Do you see it across Canada with the need that, obviously, as hockey parents, we know there's a need for more ice, but what about other sports like ringette, lacrosse? Have you thought about being able to open up your facilities to those in the future?
We've been trying for 3 years to crack the ringette group, excuse me. My sister happened to have been pretty deep in lacrosse for the last 20 years. And we were trying to offer ringette training and ringette 3-on-3. I still think there's a market for ringette training and 3-on-3. We've been unable to crack that market to date. I'm not sure 100% why. It could be a trust factor in terms of, it's a hockey development center, not a ringette development center. So maybe that's kept them away. We're still going to try to offer those programs. Lacrosse, unfortunately, we can't. I do have lacrosse trainers that come here and they, bounce the ball against the wall and they work out here and do stuff. But in essence, that dryland area, which you can do anything with, soccer, football, baseball, is available to any sport. But ice surface is obviously ice surface, and whether you're playing broom ball or ringette or hockey, we're kind of contained to a nice surface. Now, you asked me about the 5-year plan. So we are looking outward. So we've kind of diverged. Our company's kind of gone into 2 separate ways right now. We have what we're going to offer at our facility. So that is the Calgary Hockey Development Center Incorporated business that offers 3-on-3 and 3-on-3 tournaments and developments and all that. We do have another company that we've just launched called Sports Events Inc. We are going to be doing a lot of events globally and across Canada, and stay tuned for that. There's some exciting initiatives coming up on that. That's going to involve the entire country. And so anything to do with leagues or let's say skills challenges or any of these types of things, we're going to be running coast to coast here through Sports Events Inc.
Wow, that's awesome. I have to get you back on the show to talk about that once it launches.
We're pretty excited about this next initiative coming out here. So we're looking for, it's going to be called Canadian Super Skills, and we're going to be looking for the best skilled player, quote unquote, from all age groups across the country. So we're going to have kind of local, regional, and then national finals, and it's going to be an outing. It's going to take place, for example, at the Bell Center or the Saddle Dome, and it's going to be a full family outing. So it's going to be quite a production. We're about 1.5 years into the planning. We have another probably 8-9 months into the planning of that before we launch it.
Wow, that sounds exciting, Sean. That's awesome. Sean, we thank you very much for joining us today on the Primetime Alberta Sports Show. Definitely giving our viewers some insight into what your business does and what you offer athletes, definitely down in the South. Hopefully we can see you expand up into Edmonton and further across Canada. And be great to have you back on the show to talk more about the skills.
Anytime. My pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Sean. Stay right there, sir. We'll be right back with you. Thanks very much for joining us on our first Monday show, everyone, from Primetime Alberta Sports Show. I'm your host, Andrew Greenall. Have a great week.